Here is Smoke Hole, the old bridge where we used to go straight. Now they have a new highway here to get into Smoke Hole. Glad to see they left that bridge still there. A lot of memories there. We make us right on the Smoke Hole Road. Looks like they got a new road here. I remember coming here with my oldest son, Sean. We pulled over here and looked at the bridge. But that was the old rickety-rackety bridge that we used to come over into Smoke Hole. Smoke Hole Canyon, a half a mile, Big Bend. There's a Potomac River on the right. I remember coming here every weekend back in the 70s. I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, maybe 9, somewhere around there. And just coming here to get away from everything. And these roads are pretty risky. Not too bad now. There's always snow here, but man, this river we used to fish every weekend. The rock formation, unbelievable. They probably paved the road here since I've last been down there 10 years ago. Not sure, but as you get deeper and deeper into the canyon, it probably gets a little rockier. The roads are a little better here, but as you get deeper, wow, I remember this bend right here, this bend in the road. Oh yeah, because I just remember Bubby and John, my grandparents, taking me here. They put a guide rail in here now, which is good, but they never had guide rails back then in the 70s. But now they're kind of getting protective. I'm sure they made this a little more safer than they did back in the day. Wow, it's almost like a one-lane road going here. Hopefully there won't be anything icy or anything that I run into that I can't make it through. But man, these roads and windy roads hasn't changed a bit. We're gonna try to head the campground where I used to stay at. Also, it's called Big Bend Campground. I don't know if I'll go that far. We just stayed in the camper park right before Big Bend Campground. We used to call it trailers back in the day, but I guess the better word for it now is campers. My grandparents, Bubby and John, since probably in the early 80s, sold their trailer, so it's no longer down here. But just seeing these roads and seeing all the trees covered in ice and snow just takes me back. I mean, these are definitely the back hills of West Virginia. I'm about a half hour away from Petersburg, West Virginia. This is Smoke Hole Road, as a matter of fact. So as you can see, it's like a one-lane road, and I remember John doing 3-point turns on this road without a guide rail, meaning he would just use a tree and back up to go the other way in case he was going to fall over the cliff. The tree would stop him. Bubby would be so nervous, and me, of course, as a kid sitting with no seatbelt, is going, yeah, John, go for it, go for it. You know, thinking that the worst that can happen is the car goes over the hill and we get stuck and they have to pull us out. Not knowing the safety hazards, you know, nobody wore seatbelts back in the 70s, so I would have to say that there's going to be a lot of hurt if we did fall over this cliff, you know, with the way things were back in the 70s. You know, I'm probably a few miles into the canyon now, and there's probably going to be some signs up here shortly. I don't remember this. This must be new within the last 50 years, 45 years. You know, some things have changed. I think I'm getting close to Eagle Rock. On the right hand here, this is Eagle Rock. A Revolutionary War guy named William Eagle is buried here, from what I understand. And from what I read from the sign and just being here as a kid, and there's actually eagles up there, and there's actually a flag that you could see. I'll try to zoom in a little bit to see if you could see a flag up there. Coming here at night was definitely scary. I remember seeing campfires in the hills and wondering what in the world is up there, but rock climbers would go up there and spend the night. But yeah, that is something else there. That's Eagle Rock, I believe. There might be a sign coming up if it's still here. You know, remember, I'm talking about 40 to 50 years ago coming down here. So let's see, this still looks the same. You know, this is just, oh, here we go. Here's Eagle Rock right here. William Eagle, Revolutionary War soldier. Yep, so that's still there. Looks like there's a cabin up here. This is December 5th, 2018. Things have definitely changed from December of 1970s. But man, I'll tell you, this looks the same. I feel like went in a time machine and came back to the 70s to where I was a kid, and nothing's changed. I feel like I've just been living my life, and this has stayed the same. The road has stayed the same, the mountains, the river, everything. It's just a rush of emotion coming here. I remember fishing down here as a kid, seeing these rocks, and just loving this because I felt like it was my safe place. I really didn't like going to school. There's a rock in the middle of the road. I really didn't like, I remember this cavern here. There was people that used to rock climb up here. In fact, would get stuck, and we would be fishing down here. Me and John would be fishing down here, and Bubby be down there with her chair watching us. And the rock climbers would go up there, up the hills, and spend the night. But this really hasn't changed. I do remember this. It's probably been updated since then, this cabin. I remember fishing all this river. You know, this is really taking me back in time. But like I says, I feel like I've just been living my life. This has always stayed the same. I've gotten a time machine and just came back, and now it's just hitting me. Look at these rocks. I remember fishing right in front of these rocks. There's an updated cabin there. Right here, pulling over here to see. I remember going down there and just fishing. I fished with Sean there 10 years ago in 2008, and I fished there in the 70s. And this state, or actually Petersburg, West Virginia, this smoke hole is known for the golden trout. In fact, that's what they call this, home of the golden trout. I've only caught one golden trout in here, but my grandfather John caught many, and he always loved coming to smoke hole. It's a little more open than I remember. I remember it being closed in just because it was a gravel road. I see that they paved it way down here, which is nice. But the river still stays the same. I know there's been a couple floods since the 70s. I probably maybe redirected the water a little bit, but for the most part, it looks like about 80% intact. The bends are still the same in the road. The rock formations are the same. The trees, the mountains are the same. Once we get up here closer to, there's some cabins here, closer to, you know, the park where our trailer was. I think we're coming up to it now. There was an old general store here. You know, my brother and sister, my older sister used to come down here, Debbie. And I remember, I know she remembers the church. My brother Mike used to come down here as well. But I was a staple here for every weekend for years and years and years. So wow, I remember fishing all this. There's pull-offs here, and John would just lead me down with my boots and my fishing vest and just throw your line in and just fish. probably 10 hours a day, and would go back and eat every once in a while. There was no phones, there was no cable, there was no luxuries, as they say. Like I said, it was my safe zone. If I could stay here as a kid, I would have just lived here forever and not gone back to the real world, just because I didn't like school. I was in Catholic school. I would tell my friends about this place. Nobody would believe me, what I saw, what I caught, what I encountered. We've had ice storms. We've had down lines. We've got stuck here and couldn't make it back home. Just everything involved. When I got back to the real world, which was actually Monessen, I couldn't wait to get back. I couldn't wait. It was the longest 5 days to get back. Would leave Friday, come back late Sunday. It was just a pure getaway is how I'd like to describe it. We're still heading deep into the canyon here. Theme seems to be okay. It's actually clearing out. It was snow flaring on the way here from Petersburg. But we should be within a mile or two of the campground where we stayed at. I'll let you folks see that. This whole river, we fished and would see friends. I actually would make friends down here for the weekend because it was almost like a vacation spot. You know, you came down here to fish, eat, camp, drink, and just talk to the people that you've seen here. Just some of the camaraderie that my grandparents knew. I mean, would see Bud and Marianne on the side of the road just sleeping in their camper. And they'd love the fishing. Rich from Harrisburg, he'd be down there. Jack, you know, a lot of these people, I don't remember their last names, but there's a general store. I think it's called Shreve's General Store. Bubby never called it Shreve. She'd just call it the store. My sister Debbie would just call it the store, and it's just an old general store where you'd get snacks or bait or anything that you need. We're still going into the canyon. I thought it was actually closer than what it was, but maybe not. You know, I guess it seemed longer. You know, it seemed longer as a kid. Maybe the roads weren't as bad, but it just takes a while to get there. So let's see if we could see anything else. Here's some old campers. Oh, here's the actual campground. This is the store and the church. And this is where we would walk down to go fishing down here. So you could walk down by the store and go fishing. There's the signs there. Looks a little different from whenever we were there. This is the store, the general store where we were at. Debbie called it the store. That's all we call it, the store. And I remember walking here all the time with Bubby and John. We're gonna go towards the cabins or the trailers where we used to park and stay. These trailers been here probably from the 50s and 60s, for sure. You look at this road there. I really don't want to go down there. I'm probably going to turn around here and go back. Maybe I'll walk down there. There's a church that Debbie was talking about. Try to clear it up a little here. I don't know if you could see that, but the river down here. This is where the most change has probably been, just because this used to be so much broader and bigger down by the store. You know, I remember this water coming back. That's the trail that goes behind the trailer. And this extended out further. I remember this rock right here. I'll try to zoom in on it, and I would look at that rock going, wow, that rock's been there forever and hasn't moved. And let me tell you, it's still there. Water seems to be clear. A lot of trout is in here. I'll try to take a walk up the road here and see what we have. Okay, so can't really walk up there. I ran into a dog which looked like a wolf. It's probably protect property. But as you could see, this is like going back in time. A lot of the old places up here. I don't remember that house right there. There's a dog I'm talking about, wolf dog. These trailers been here forever. I don't want to go off-roading. I remember this one. I actually used to like this trailer here. I'm like, that was always awesome, just the way it looked. Just a second here. This is the trailer park, for lack of a better word, that we used to walk to. It looks like carports. Some people have nicer trailers than what we did before. I remember coming down this road right here, and this is kind of where Bubby and John's trailer was. I'll try to go up here and show you where it was at. Everybody seems to have carports, so I think we were like right around here. I want to say that was the spot there. That looks like Jack's old trailer that was there. He had one leg. That was the trailer there. And then Bubby and John's was right here. But it's hard to tell because of, oh, the Prowler is still there. Yes, that's been there since the 70s. So I'm pretty sure that was Bubby and John's spot right there where the trailer was. And that was the Prowler that was right next to him. And up here is the owner of the park. You'd go up here to, you know, to turn on the power. I'm just going to go up here and see what it's like. Yeah, that was definitely there. That was back in the day. Well, I think I can't go back down there. I think I'm gonna head back over to North Fork and head back on out of here. But that's pretty much it. It's taking me back, really far back, like in a time machine, like I said, as I'm trying to show you everything, like the hills and stuff like that. I think I'm gonna go back home over the North Fork. So that's about it. Crazy. Time stands still right here.